Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of this, the Easter wall hanging, whatever you want to call it. The first part of the video is setting everything up, getting your fabrics back with it. If you don't have the stuff, just use it. You can use your spray and spray it on back. It just helps your fabrics better. Going to cut them, they don't fray as bad, and they're easy to stitch down doing the satin stitch. But if you don't have none of that stuff, you still can use it. You can lay your fabric on there and just have at it. This is just stuff that really works well with me. This is just what I use, and I've watched other videos using that, so and I tried it out, and it works a lot better. So the block first that we're going to be doing is this block right here, which is the E and the caret. So this is what we're going to do. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to get your cutaway fabric, and you just want to hoop your stabilizer. That's what you're going to do with this. Just hoop the stabilizer. And you want to make sure your stabilizer is nice and tight as you can get it. I might have to get me another 4x4 hoop, or use my other hoop, because this one here, it's just not working. But I'm not going to care what the back looks like as long as the front does what it's supposed to do, because it's going to get covered. Now, I do want to mention, you want to make sure that you get your hoop nice and tight. When I use like this right here, you see there is no puckering. And that's because I use cutaway, and I make sure that my hoop is nice and tight, and it sounds like a drum, and it will not leave puckers. You want to make sure that you have your fabric and everything else nice and tight. That will cause not to have all kind of fabrics bunching and puckering. You don't want that. You want it to kind of look just like this. And so that's what I did with this here. So if I'm going to do any kind of design, I use cutaway. That's just what I like to use. I think it gives me a better result. So I have my cutaway here, and you just want to do this, and you're going to put it in your machine. And I'm probably going to turn you around. You may not be able to see because I don't have my iPad, so you will not be able to see exactly what I'm doing. I can probably move you up closer on this. Don't know how well it's going to work. And then I'll just have to push you back. So I'm just going to leave it right here. Okay. Now, when you load your design in your machine, it's automatically going to go to set. Okay, you're going to have a little purple button on the bottom that's going to say set. You want to hit that. Okay, and then you're going to come up to a screen where it's going to say move, size, and rotate. Okay, so I hit the size button. I just hit it. And the only two first buttons I use is the top one and then the lower one. I don't use, you're going to have 6 little squares. Okay, that's got rectangles this way and also for I don't touch those. I don't use them. I use these first two right here. You're going to have a square that's going to show arrows pointing in. That's downsizing to make it smaller. Then you're going to have below it, you're going to have a square that's showing the arrows pointing out. That's sizing it to a larger deal, okay, your embroidery design. So I'm going to hit that button right there, and I'm just upsized it. So now we're ready. Everything is good. So now we're going to hit OK. And then you don't want to rotate your design and you don't want to move your design. You just want to keep it right where it's at. So then I'm going to hit, it's going to say edit and end. And that's what you want to hit. Then you're going to hit embroidery again. And then it's going to come to your screen where it shows your colors. And then on the right, it's going to show your little box, like your picture, whatever. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my regular white bobbin thread in here. And I'm going to use this isocord. Now, I got this from Bernina. And I love this isocord. It is so nice. I love it. I might just buy me a couple of spools of this at a time. But I just love this stuff. It really works well with this machine. So I'm going to thread it. Okay, now the first thing it's going to do is you're going to run a placement stitch. Okay, and on your screen, I wish I can show you better, but I'm kind of just explaining it the best way I can. On your screen on the right, you're going to have a big white box. And what that is, it's going to show a basting. So basically, it's going to show a placement line to where you're going to be placing your fabric and batting. And the instructions will tell you can cut your batting, but I don't. I use it all in just one deal. I don't even cut mine or trim my batting at all. So we are going to be running this first stitch. And this is going to show where to lay your fabric and batting down, and that's why I put it together. And then I kind of just fold it in half because I want the center line to be lined up with my little triangle up at the top, my little notch. you're going to take it out, and you could probably see, but here's the little square right there. And that's going to be your placement line. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric, and where I have that line that I just folded, I'm going to lay it right up against that top notch. Okay, now we're going to put it back into the machine. And what it's going to do, it's going to tack down that piece there. It's going to tack it down. My favorite coffee right here. I put mine in the freezer so it freezes. This is the caramel kind, and I like the mocha, but I love these. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it did. And what it did was it tacked down that square in the middle. Okay, do not unhoop your project for any reason, and do not cut your fabric. Okay, don't cut it. Just leave it like it is. Now we're going to put it back in. Before we put it back into the machine, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my bobbin thread, and I'm going to put my blue in there. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to go ahead and put my blue in there. Okay, now we'll put our hoop back into the machine. Now, this is going to do the placement, the stitch for the E. So you want to make sure that you have your fabric ready for your E, backed, or however you're going to do it. You want to make sure you have this ready. So, I may have to trim this down, I don't know. So now we're going to do the outline of the E. And that's going to be where you're going to place your fabric over the E. So here we go. Stop your machine and make sure you cut your little thread. You don't want to have these little thread tails because you don't want them to get caught up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this machine. It's going to stitch out, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay. That is done. And I don't know if you can see, but there is the E. It just did the placement stitch on the E. Okay, so now I won't need all of this, so I'm going to cut it down. And sometimes I'd rather have enough in there than not enough, because you're not going to need a whole lot. But I like to have enough in there because you want to make sure that you cover that E, and you have enough in there to stitch around it. So the next step you're going to do is you're going to take the backing off. You're going to peel the backing off that paper. Now, do not iron this to your fabric, because you will ruin your project. Because this has got the heating bond, and when you put the heating bond on it, it's going to seal it down, and then you're not going to be able to cut it around. So don't iron it. All you want to do is just lay it down there, kind of press it down. Okay, we're going to put it back in the machine. And this is the next step is going to be the tack down of the E. And then it shows you right there on your little square that you're going to tack down that E. So I'm going to pause the video and let this tack down, and then I'll show you the next step. Okay. If you look here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to close my little curtains here, because I feel like I don't have enough light. Okay. Okay, I think you can see. Okay, it just did the tack down on the E. Now we're fixing to get ready to cut it out. So, you want to take your scissors and I might turn you around this way. Okay, you can probably see me a little better. Okay, so I'm going to cut around this E. And be careful if you're using regular scissors. And what I do is I kind of just go around that E first. And like these scissors here, I can just get in there and cut and not have to worry, because it's not, you can end up cutting in your stitches, but I don't. That's what these bent scissors are for. They really help. Okay, so now you got to get inside this E in the middle here. And it's not hard. That's why these curved scissors are perfect for this. And you're just going to cut all the way around it. Don't cut your stitches. Don't be scared to do this. And trust me, but if you have regular scissors, just be careful, okay? Because you don't want to cut your stitching. And then you're really going to have a bigger problem. So, this is what it's going to look like. You've got it all trimmed. You're going to trim in here. You got all that trimmed. Now, the next step is going to do the satin stitch. So it's going to satin stitch all the way around this E. This right here, it won't satin stitch because I think part of the leaf is going to go right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to satin stitch this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on pause and then let it do its thing, and then I will show you what it looks like. So you're going to put it back into your machine and do the next step, which is the satin stitch. And then I will be back and show you what that looks like. Okay, we're back. Now I'm going to show you. It just got the stitch. Oh. Okay, and here's what it looks like. And it did all the satin stitch. Okay. The next thing it's going to do, it's oh, okay, I know what it's going to do. Okay. This stitch here, I think it goes on the inside. So, I think that's what this stitch does. Okay, it's going to tack down around the E. Inside the E, it's going to tack down that E there. Okay. So it's kind of doing like a stitch all the way around the E. On the inside is what it's doing. I think we're fixing to get ready to do the carrot next. And I've already have my stuff, my bobbin. Okay. No, actually, it's going to be the leaf. Okay, the leaf. So I want to change my bobbin thread. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my green in there. You can do that too. You can put your white back in there. As long as you have the same thread to do your satin stitch. Okay, I'm going to change. Always make sure when you're fixing to get ready to take your thread out, don't just pull it out, okay? Cut it between this little silver piece and where you put your spool at. Cut it right in the middle and then pull your thread from your needle, okay? And this is because it will mess up your tension inside here. So that's one thing. That's one thing that I learned, that you want to cut your thread between this little silver piece and between the spool of your thread right here. You want to cut just right in the middle. Just pull your spool, just pull your embroidery thread out, and then your thread from your needle, because it doesn't mess up your tension. That's just kind of a little FYI there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch out this part of the leaf here. And it's going to show this leaf right here. It's going to show you do one little piece, one little piece. I'm not going to do that. It's just all going to be in one piece. So, what you want to do is it's going to stitch out this part of the leaf first. Okay, so you want to, I'm going to cut my fabrics in half, and then I'm going to cut them in half again to where you have two little squares. Now I might can just, you want to have a little tiny square like that for your leaf. That's what I'm going to do. Just cut it down, because these are little tiny. Okay. And I need to press this down more here. Sorry for the jiggle. And I might just do this other one here. And I'm going to have, after this, the first leaf I do, I'll have to stop it and do another video. This is going to be several parts on this, so I'm using my phone, and it's just going to have to, okay. You want to peel your paper. And you just want to lay that down and press it. And then it's going to do the tack down stitch. Don't be afraid to kind of put your finger down there and hold it. Just don't get it right where that needle is. I kind of just spread them out just a little bit. Okay. Now, it just did the leaf. It just tacked down that leaf right there, okay? So, you're going to cut around your leaf like we did the E. And then I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then do my other leaf. And then I will show you back on the next video what that looks like, okay? So, I will see y'all back on the next video. Alright, bye-bye. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video. And please leave comments. Alright, bye-bye.